Hey guys, Taylor the Destructor Ninja here, and welcome to another tips and tutorial video for 7 Days to Die Alpha 20. If you are on console, I'm sorry this video is not for you. There are a couple weapons here that are advanced from that. Hopefully they will be able to release a console update soon. If you are jumping from console to PC though, or if you're brand new to PC, or even if you took a break and then you're just coming back, this video is for you. There's a lot of information here I'm going to try to get through, including a brief touch on each weapon, both melee and ranged. I'm not really going to get to mods too much. I can go into more detail with a particular weapon and a mod setup, but right now there's too much information to really go through. I don't want this video to drag on forever for you, so let's just go ahead and jump right on in. Alright, up first is the club. This is the basic weapon that they have you make while you're doing your initial quests. Personally, I feel it's the most well-balanced between power, as well as stamina usage, and speed. Now, before we get too much further here, when it comes to melee, it's all about preference. Do you want more speed? Do you want more power? Or do you want to try to find a balance between the two? The club, in my opinion, has the perfect balance between the two. Even amongst all the best versions of all the weapons, I feel the club is the best. There's a lot of debate about that, but this is a personal thing. I feel the club is perfectly balanced between all weapons. But we will go through each advantage and disadvantage of each weapon as we progress forward here. Like I said, starting with the club. Alright, so the club has a very basic swing, even a basic power attack, but the club can tear through enemies very quickly, especially if the club is all you have to resort to. And as long as you've been speccing into strength, which is what the perk for the club is, Pummel Pete. Let's go ahead and put a point in there. Let's actually throw a couple points into strength here. I've leveled us up a little bit. When you put 1 point into the club, actually, when you put 1 point into any perk involving any melee weapon, you get the recipe to craft the iron version of that weapon right away. See, like this says, unlock baseball bat crafting. That is the iron version of the club. We'll just stick with the 1 point for now. Sorry, Arlene. As you can see, a couple hits, she's already down, and this is because I already put a point into Pummel Pete. 3 basic swings, dead. Up against a few Arlenes. Might be in a bit of trouble, but not really all that bad. As long as you can hit them, it's really not all that bad. The baseball bat, the iron version of the club, is even better. Has about the same speed of a swing, both regular and power attack, but it does so much more damage. Now, yes, this is a level 5 bat. If you put a point into Pummel Pete, you're able to make level 2 bats. Let's go to the bat. And while, yes, it does a little bit less damage, it still has the same speed. You're still able to swing through. And as long as you're putting points into strength, you can put points into Sexual Tyrannosaurus. That will help you with stamina usage. Let's go ahead and throw a couple in there as well, because we're going to need that for the Sledgehammer, which is coming up pretty shortly. Let's go ahead and bring a couple zombies in. Oh no, it's a couple of bikers. A couple of hits. What was that, like 4 each? They both went down. That's really not all that bad. Alright, now the steel version for the club. Let's go ahead and bring that down to our tool belt. To be able to craft the steel club, or the steel version of any weapon, you really need to get the schematic or a specific book for it. For this, it would be Batter Up Volume 6. There are certain books that have 7 in a series, and let's see, Batter Up. This is all having to do with clubs, making them swing faster, do more damage, power attacks to leg slow enemies, degrade 20% slower. This is why I love the clubs so much. But book 6 in that series is Make Steel Clubs. Steel clubs are amazing, and it is one of my favorite all-time weapons. Let's go ahead and bring a couple zombies in here. Now watch this. Now, yeah, I took a couple of hits, but still, few hits and laid out all them zombies. Again, I know it was a level 5 club, but still, I don't think the result really have been much different, even if it was a weaker club. Let's move on to sledgehammers. The stone sledgehammer is something you can make right away. Actually, all of these weapons, even the wooden club, of course, they have you make that in the beginning, but all of these other weapons are available to you right away. Stone sledgehammer only costs a few stone, plant fiber, and wood. Its regular attack is a bit slow. The sledgehammer does use up quite a bit of stamina, especially the power attack, but again, speed versus power. The sledgehammer is all about power. It does more damage to blocks, it does more damage to zombies. Let's go ahead and bring a zombie in. Sorry, Arlene, it looks like you're the winner today. Ho, one power attack from a level 1 stone sledgehammer. Granted, yes, we put a couple of points into strength, but Skull Crusher, which specializes in sledgehammers, didn't have a single point in it. Let's go ahead and put a point in it. Unlocks Iron Sledgehammer crafting. Let's go ahead and bring an Iron Sledgehammer down. Again, it is a level 5, but let's bring in a biker this time. Power attack. And decapitated. Bikers take a lot of hits too. The steel version of the sledgehammer also swings a bit slower. It swings about the same speed, in my opinion, as the iron sledgehammer. Regular attack is a bit slower. Power attack is a bit slower too. But, oh my god, does it hit harder. Let's bring in a few zombies this time. Line up, fellas. I may have knocked him back, but it did damage to these two. He's back, but it did damage to him as well. He's dead. 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 Really didn't take that much effort. Yes, my stamina meter went down quite a bit, and I know I have that bonus from eating some gumbo soups, but still, the steel sledgehammer is a beast. If you have more points into Sexual Tyrannosaurus, which by the time you can unlock a level 5 steel sledgehammer, it really won't be so bad in the way of stamina. Plus, you know, you could have coffees and whatnot to help you with that. Alright, now it is time for spears. Spears is a fun weapon. I believe that came in Alpha 18. It has a very quick and decent reach for a normal attack. Look, that was like 3 blocks away. Look at that. I was able to destroy that, and that was there? 3 blocks away. The spear has a very decent range to it for a melee weapon. Its power attack is also to throw it. But the downside to that, oh no, I've thrown my spear. I have no other weapon. My point being, if you're going to go with the spear, especially early game, make yourself a couple of stone spears right away. Let's go spear. Very cheap to make as well. To level up spears, you got to go into Perception and go to Javelin Master. 1 point, of course, like anything else, it unlocks the Iron Spear. Same thing with the Iron Spear, only you don't really lose any speed. Still has the same amount of speed, still has the same amount of reach. Let's go ahead and bring in a zombie. Or regular attacks. You could throw your spear, and unless you get close to the zombie, which it could still be up and swinging at you, you should have more than one spear on you at all times. That is just a personal preference. If you do go spears, highly recommended. It is a very excellent melee weapon. Now, before we go any further, if this is your first time through or ever playing the game, I highly recommend playing with clubs. Clubs, like I said before, is a very well-balanced weapon. Stick with clubs. Trust me, you will not regret it. Alright, now let's talk knuckle weapons. Now, yes, you could do a regular punch, but with even knuckle wraps, this adds a little bit of punch or power behind your punches, and it really doesn't cost much in the way of stamina. Again, speed versus power. This is very quick, but it's not that powerful, at least right away. There is also something satisfying about punching a zombie in the face. Look at that, couple hits. Arlene was down, and she's dead. Pretty hard faceplant. To level up knuckle weapons, you gotta go into Fortitude and put points into the Brawler. Now, to make up for the lack of power, though increase in speed, you are able to make Iron Knuckles right away, again after putting 1 point into it, but punches to the head negate infection ability. If I punch a zombie in the face, it's not going to infect me. So that is one major upside to putting points into the Brawler. Let's get their attention. And just like that, they're dead. Pretty painless, and I took off that one zombie's head. Steel Knuckles have a very special purpose. Yes, they do more damage. It costs a little bit more stamina to use. But, see the knives? There's a very, very special purpose to this. Let's go ahead and bring in an animal. Sorry, Pork Chop. Now you'll notice the knives. At the end of it, all you have to do is just punch an animal, and you're able to harvest its resources. So you no longer need a knife if you have knuckle weapons, or at least steel knuckles. You could ditch that hunting knife or even that level 1 machete in favor for your steel knuckles, because all you got to do is just punch the animal, boom, you got its meat. Speaking of knives, I never thought I would use this as my main melee weapon, but in my most recent series, Townie Taylor, I have, and you know what? I am thoroughly impressed with the knife. The bone knife is very easy to make early on. All you have to do is just get yourself 5 bones. You can always carry a couple more bones on you as well to be able to repair your knife, but quick attack, quick power attack, decent reach, about 2 blocks away. But overall, it's a halfway decent weapon. Yes, as a bone knife and the hunting knife, it's not entirely the best, but once you put points into his perk, which is deep cuts, which 1 point unlocks knife crafting, you'll be able to inflict a bleeding wound on zombies. Hear how she's grunting? Did you see that blood squirt out? There it was again. She's bleeding to death. Let's see if she'll bleed out. Well, she didn't bleed out that time, but you know what? That's okay. Let's go ahead and bring down the hunting knife. See if we can do the same thing and see if we can actually get a zombie to bleed out. That time, she bled out to death. So that is one major perk to the knife, inflicting bleeding wounds. The machete is basically an entirely short sword. Let's go ahead and throw a couple points into agility. and see what happens when we bring up deep cuts at least 2 more times. The machete has a very quick swing, even a very quick power attack, and I'm not going to lie, I have decapitated a lot of zombies very quickly with the machete. I love the machete so much. Let's bring in a couple bikers. Have them come at me. Dead. Let's see if he'll bleed out. That guy bled out, and this guy's dead. Really doesn't take much effort. Now when it comes to batons, I'm not really going to touch too much on it. The pipe baton does have a decent range. Let's see. That was how many blocks away? About 3 blocks away. So about the same range as the spear. But it's a very blunt weapon with a very decent power attack. It does swing a little bit slower than the club, but I think it does just about as much damage. To level up this particular weapon, you have to go into Intellect and put points into Electrocutioner. Putting points in Electrocutioner at least 1 point will allow you to unlock the Stun Baton. If I could spell it right. The Pipe Baton really doesn't cost much to craft. It did go up a couple of resources. Putting points into most weapons, it does, especially with iron weapons. Normally at a level 1, this costs 4 pipes, 2 glue, and I think like 3 leather? 2 or 3 leather? I could be wrong. But putting points and leveling stuff up, it will cost a little bit more resources, but it's a trade-off for more damage. One of the biggest downsides for the baton is there's only 1 upgrade versus 2 from the pipe baton, and that is the stun baton. But the stun baton has its own little perks, and I will bring in an extra zombie and show you what I mean. You hear that little buzz sound? That is the stun baton charging up. See that light? It is charged up. Now if I hit him one more time, he will be shocked. Shocking not only stuns the zombies, but it does damage over time. That could charge up faster if I use power attacks. See, that took 2 hits to charge up versus the, 4 or 5? So, that's not all that bad. Plus, the stun baton has its own special modification that you can get for it by reading the corresponding book. This mod, once the stun baton is charged, will send zombies flying. Now, yes, there's a stone shovel. Why did I include a stone shovel? Well, if you go under strength, of course, as you're mining throughout the game, you're going to probably put points into Miner 69er anyway, especially the first one so you can get iron tools. The axe, for example, the stone axe. There's an iron fire axe and a steel axe. Look at that thing. That looks like a battle axe, doesn't it? Well, it's because you can use it as such. As you put points into Miner 69er, of course, your tools will get stronger, but also as you're putting points into strength. For example, level 6, deal 250% headshot damage and have 30% greater chance to dismember with shotguns, clubs, sledgehammers, and tools governed by the Miner 69er perk. Though it's not ideal, and the fun pimps don't recommend using axes as a weapon, you can use the axe as a weapon. Sorry, Arlene. Let's go ahead and bring the steel axe down. God, look at that thing. Looks like a beast, doesn't it? Sorry, Arlene. And just like that, her head was off. Alright, and there you have it. That covers melee weapons in a nutshell. Hopefully by the end of this, you'll have an idea of what type of melee weapon you'll use, as well as a ranged weapon. But first, let's wrap up melee weapons here by reminding you which perk goes with which weapon. Pummel Pete, you level that up to make better clubs. Skull Crusher for better sledgehammers. Javelin Master for better spears, Brawler for knuckle weapons, Deep Cuts for knives, Electrocutioner for the stun baton, and if you were going to use, or if you wanted to challenge yourself by only using tools as weapons, Miner 69er for tools. Alright, now let's play with some guns. The amount of weaponry in this game is pretty amazing, especially when it comes to ranged weapons. Especially, throwables. Or even guns. There's always something for everyone in this game. Alright, so let's move on to pipe weapons, which are all available to you on day 1, with the exception of the pipe bomb, but we will get to that here in a little bit. You know what? Let's cover throwables right now, actually. You're able to make Molotovs right away. However, the cost for the resources are pretty high. Let's see, Molotov. Though you're able to make it right away, you have to get your hands on gas and oil. Early game, you gotta hope for a wrench, because the only way you're gonna get this stuff by taking apart cars. But to get your hands on pipe bombs, you actually have to put a point into Demolitions Expert. This unlocks pipe bombs, pressure plate, and cooking pot mines as well. But it also increases not only the amount of damage, being able to light and throw them, and after you throw it, being able to pull another one out even faster, as well as increase the chances of stunning your enemies and doing dismemberment and more stuff like that. But yeah, that's throwables in a nutshell. Just don't forget, you have to light it before you throw it. So, power attack to light it, throw it. Power attack to light it, throw it. Pro tip, if you throw a few of them down at one time before lighting them, those things will still explode. Ba-boom. Alright, let's start with the pipe pistol. Pipe pistol only has 6 shots in its chamber, after which you have to reload. Reloading with any pipe weapon is actually going to be a bit of time consuming, so use caution when using these, especially leading into late in the week or even after your first week. In keeping with the pipe pistol, let's go ahead and put a point into, here it is, Gunslinger. Gunslinger will be what increases your levels with handguns, whether that's with the pipe pistol, other pistols, or the Magnum, the Desert Vulture, or the SMG. Yes, the SMG may be a submachine gun, but this is the perk that it falls under in order to increase the level for it. Increasing its level deals not only more damage, but it also increases the fire rate and reloads, just like with all other guns. The next level up from the pipe pistol is the traditional pistol. Holds more rounds. Of course, you'll be able to rapid fire, well, somewhat rapid fire it, well, a lot faster than a pipe weapon anyway. But you can also get your hands on a Magnum. I believe we could do the Magnum early. No. It will, of course, put points into leveling up your Magnum, but in order to be able to craft the Magnum or the Desert Vulture, you do need to find the corresponding schematic. The Magnum is very powerful, but it is also only a 6-shooter. The step up from the Magnum is the Desert Vulture. It holds 2 more rounds, and it fires a little bit faster. Moving on to my next favorite series as far as guns go in this game is shotguns. Now, yes, the pipe shotgun, it does quite a bit of damage, but the pipe shotgun only holds 1 round, and reloading it does take what feels like a small eternity, especially when you have a group of zombies following you. However, under strength, you're going to want to put points into boomstick in order to increase it. 1 point will unlock the double barrel side-by-side shotgun for you. and it not only increases how much firepower it holds, some of you may have noticed that, but some of you may not have, it did reload a little bit faster. Just to prove it, I'm going to go ahead and throw a couple more points into Boomstick and show you. See, that time it was very noticeable. The double barrel side-by-side holds 2 rounds at one time, allowing for a quick succession of shots. Of course, as you're putting more points into Boomstick, though, you'll be able to reload this a little bit faster. Overall, it's a pretty damn good weapon, but even better, and a personal favorite, is the Pump Shotgun. Pump Shotgun holds 8 rounds by default, and allows for quick firing. Reloading it is not that bad either. And although the Pump Shotgun is a personal favorite, the Auto Shotgun is amazing. Now, before I get around to showcasing that shotgun, you'll be able to craft the double barrel shotgun, but in order to get your hands on the Auto Shotgun, you need to get the schematic for it. Same thing with the Pump Shotgun, or buy one from your local trader. Holding 15 to 16 rounds, that thing is a beast. Alright, let's talk rifles. At the beginning of the game, of course, you are able to craft the pipe rifle. Though powerful, it is a single shot. Reloading it does seem to take what feels like a small eternity, just like the pipe shotgun. In order to level this up, you got to go into Perception and put points into Deadeye. Deadeye is what increases both the power and reload speed of rifles. It also unlocks hunting rifle crafting. Let's go ahead and throw a couple points into that. Now let's show you the reload speed. Considerably quicker. The hunting rifle still only holds 1 shot, but it does have a bit more power, and reloading it does not take forever. The lever action rifle requires the schematic. Same thing with the sniper rifle. We'll get to the TAC assault rifle later. But the lever action rifle holds multiple rounds in it, allowing for quick shots. Reloading it doesn't take forever either. And then, of course, you have the sniper rifle, holding the most amount of rounds in any other rifle. At a quick reload speed, if I really wanted to pick off a zombie from a distance, I could. It's really not that difficult. Combine it with a scope, which is one of the many mods you can get for guns. It could pack a very, very powerful punch. Moving on to assault rifles. Beginning off with this, you can make the pipe machine gun, which holds 15 rounds, but is a very quick shot. Reloading it does not seem to take forever right off the bat. You got to go to Fortitude, and then you got to put points into Machine Gunner. Let's do it a couple times. Watch this reload speed. Noticeably faster. Next step up from the pipe machine gun is the AK-47. Bit more of a rapid fire. We got the tactical assault rifle. A quick burst. With decent reload speed. And then, of course, we have the M60. Holds the most rounds in the Assault Rifle series, and pretty quick shot. By the time you're able to craft this, you probably should be close to maxing out Machine Gunner, at which point it won't really take long to reload it. Also, because I forgot it, this is the SMG, which again goes back to Gunslinger. Has a very high rate of fire. Does not take long to reload. Before I go into bows, let's cover rocket launchers real quick. And that's it. In order to level up the rocket launcher, all you have to do is put points into Demolitions Expert. But in order to craft the rocket launcher, you need to find the rocket launcher schematic. HE rounds do more damage to blocks. As you can see, there is a crater. However, rocket frags do more damage to zombies than they do blocks. Let's talk bows. In the initial quest, they have you make the primitive bow. It always is a level 1. You'll be able to use stone arrows. They teach you how to make those too in the game as well. Stone arrows are not bad early game, as I demonstrated on how to survive on day 1. If you are crouched and you get that delicious sneak damage, a stone arrow on even a level 1 primitive bow can do some serious damage. However, if you did want to level it up, all you have to do is just go to agility and put points into archery, and from there you'll be able to make a better bow. This also unlocks the wooden bow and the iron crossbow. I'm going to be honest with you guys, I never really messed with the crossbow. I do know it has a slow speed. The bows generally do. But it is quiet, which can come in handy and is a very tactical thing to use when going through and clearing any POIs. You want to go through a house, you want to go through a big business, awesome. Take a bow with you. A lot of players downplay them, but I'm not going to lie. It is a very, very handy and very powerful tool to have in your tool belt. Even a stone arrow can do some serious damage, and once you make a forge, you're able to make iron arrowheads, which do even way, way more damage than your typical stone arrow. Look at that, +3 to range damage points, +2 to block damage, even more projectile velocity. In addition to iron arrows, you can get your hands on steel arrows as well as flaming arrows and exploding arrows. I will cover those here in a minute. Let's cover the crossbow for a sec here. The crossbow, of course, is a single shot, but it has more distance it can cover than your typical bow and arrow. Let's go ahead and reload here. Seems a little slow, of course. Put points into archery. Boom, ready to go. One of the best things that's in this game is the exploding and flaming arrows. Set a zombie on fire. Or even better, blow them up. Steel arrows and iron arrowheads are easily made. For steel arrows, you do need a crucible inside your forge. To make exploding and flaming arrows, though, you need to find the corresponding book with it. But once you find the book, it not only unlocks the arrow, it also unlocks the bolt for the crossbow. And there you have it. That is ranged weapons in a nutshell. I really need a rocket launcher more in my series. Alright, just a quick recap. If you put points into Gunslinger, that will help with handguns as well as level up the SMG. being able to increase the reload speed and damage, just like with all other gun weapons. Same thing with Deadeye for rifles, archery for bows and crossbows, machine gunner for all assault rifles, and the boomstick for the shotguns. And there you have it. I hope there was something you were able to take away from this video. Hopefully this helps you out in the long run, and if you are brand new to the game, hopefully this informed you about which weapons you might be interested, which ones you might not. Again, if this is your first time through the game, I highly recommend clubs. And as long as you're putting points into strength, go ahead and put points into boomstick. Yes, you'll only be able to make a double barrel shotgun, but it won't be long before you get your hands on a pump shotgun and even an auto shotgun. If a shotgun doesn't sound like more your forte because, it does seem slow, go with agility, go gunslinger, and get your hands on a pistol. Pistol is one of my favorite go-to weapons, both on quick reload speed, and it handles a small crowd of zombies very, very, very well. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I hope you're looking forward to more 7 Days to Die content. Thank you so much for all the support. It really does mean a lot. You can follow me on Facebook if you're interested. The link is in the description below. If there's something you think I missed, or if there's something you want me to go more in depth with, I'd be more than happy to answer your question. Go ahead and drop a comment. Otherwise, stick around for more 7 Days to Die content, and I will catch you guys in the next one.